you have been chasing your entire life. The career, the relationship, the version of yourself you keep describing to people who are still waiting to see it appear. And the harder you chase, the more you push, the more you force, the more you grip the outcome until your knuckles turn white. The further it moves. You have noticed this. You have felt it. The thing you want most seems to respond to your desperation by accelerating in the opposite direction. This is not bad luck. This is not bad timing. This is not the universe working against you. This is a law, as precise and as documented as any law in physics. And the Stoics named it 2,000 years ago. They also left you the complete instruction for what you do instead. Most people never find it because it requires doing the one thing that desperation makes feel impossible: letting go. Social psychologist Dr. Robert Cialdini spent decades studying the mechanics of human desire. His finding, replicated across every culture and context he examined, was precise and counterintuitive. Scarcity creates desire. Desperation destroys it. When something or someone senses they are being chased, when they register the anxiety, the need, the grip of someone who requires this outcome, they pull back, not as a conscious decision, as an instinct. The same instinct that makes you step away from someone who needs your approval every hour. The same instinct that makes an opportunity feel less valuable the moment someone is clearly desperate for it. Desperation signals lack, and lack repels what abundance attracts. Psychologist Gabriele Oetinger's research on goal pursuit confirmed this from a different angle. People who are most emotionally attached to a specific outcome, who need it, not want it, perform measurably worse in pursuit of it than people who hold their goals with what she called relaxed intention. The grip is the problem. The chasing is the obstacle. History confirms this at its highest levels. Napoleon, the most aggressively driven military mind of his era, lost his empire not on the battlefield but in the boardroom of his own desperation. The tighter he gripped, the more he needed to control, to force, to accelerate, the more things collapsed around him. Marcus Aurelius, who governed a larger empire under harder conditions, wrote about this exact dynamic in his private journal. Not as philosophy, as operational instruction for a man who had learned the hard way what happens when the grip replaces the wisdom. Marcus Aurelius faced 19 consecutive years of things not going according to plan. Plague that killed millions. Wars he did not start and could not quickly end. A general he trusted who declared himself emperor and marched against him. Children who died before him. An empire that tested every principle he had ever committed to. And in the private journal, he kept for no audience but himself. There is not a single page that reads like a man white-knuckling the outcome. Every page reads like a man who had learned to work with the current instead of against it. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He was not writing acceptance as surrender. He was writing acceptance as strategy. The obstacle does not stop the water. The water finds the way around the obstacle, over it, through it, beneath it, and eventually shapes the entire landscape. Not through force, through persistence without resistance. He also wrote, and this is the line that reframes the entire pattern of desperate chasing: confine yourself to the present. Not the outcome you are forcing toward. Not the version of success that exists only in your anxious imagination. This moment. This action, this quality of engagement with what is directly in front of you. Epictetus, who had been owned, whose body was not his own, who had every reason to grip desperately at every small freedom available, chose instead to build a philosophy around the one distinction that made all the difference. Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. Not passive, precise. Do your part completely. Release the outcome entirely. These were not men without ambition. They were men who had discovered that ambition without detachment is just anxiety with a plan. So why does the chasing persist? Why do people who can feel the desperation costing them, who have watched the grip push away exactly what they were reaching for, keep reaching the same way? Three mechanisms, each one reinforcing the others. The first, need, has been confused with desire. There is a distinction the Stoics drew with surgical precision that modern self-help almost never makes. The difference between wanting something and needing it. When you want something, when you would genuinely welcome it while being completely at peace without it, you hold it lightly. You pursue it from fullness, from a place that is not diminished by the absence of the outcome. When you need something, when your sense of worth, your peace of mind, your identity itself is contingent on the arrival of a specific outcome, you pursue it from lack. And lack energy is the single most repellent force available to a human being. Epictetus called this preferred indifference. You prefer success, love, abundance, of course you do. But your interior is not held hostage by them. Your worth does not fluctuate with their presence or absence. That groundedness, that genuine, not performed, okayness, is not weakness. It is the most magnetic state a person can inhabit. Because people and circumstances are drawn toward those who do not desperately need them. The second, the grip creates the resistance. Your nervous system, when operating from anxiety, from the fear that this might not work, from the desperation of someone who has made their peace conditional on a specific outcome, compromises every capability you bring to the pursuit. You talk too fast. You accept worse terms. You miss the peripheral opportunity because you are locked on the one outcome your anxiety has decided is the only acceptable one. The anxious mind narrows. The calm mind expands. And the expanded mind is the one that sees the door that was always open but invisible to the stressed perspective. Marcus did not force solutions. He created the conditions in which solutions could arrive, through stillness, through patience, through the quality of presence that comes from a man who is not operating from fear of the wrong outcome. I want you to think about holding a butterfly. If you grip it, if you close your hand around it because you are afraid of losing it, you destroy the very thing you were trying to keep. But if you open your palm, if you hold your hand still and steady, if you create the conditions for it to stay, it rests. Your goals are the butterfly. The tighter your grip, the more anxious the pursuit, the more desperate the need for a specific outcome on a specific timeline. The more you crush the very thing you are reaching for. Open the hand. Do the work completely. Hold the outcome lightly. Create the conditions. Trust the intelligence of the process. Marcus governed an empire this way, not by forcing every outcome, by doing his part with complete commitment, and then extending the quality of trust that a man possesses when he knows his interior is not dependent on the result. The third, and the one that requires the most honesty to examine. Most people are chasing because stillness terrifies them. Because if they stop, if they release the grip, slow the pursuit, trust the timing, they are left with the one thing the chasing was designed to avoid: themselves. The question of whether they are enough, right now, as they are, without the achievement, is the question that the chasing perpetually defers. Because as long as you are in pursuit, as long as the thing is not yet arrived, the answer remains undecided. But the Stoics understood that the answer to that question does not arrive at the destination. It is built in the interior, right now, in the quality of your engagement with this moment, independent of what the moment is producing. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it." Not in the absence of action, in the quality of it, in the difference between pursuing your life from wholeness and chasing your life from lack. One builds, one depletes, and only one of them actually produces what you are chasing. Here is what you actually do, not as a philosophy, as a daily practice. Starting tonight. Practice 1. Identify what you are gripping. Tonight, before you sleep, write down the one goal, the one outcome, the one thing in your life where the pursuit has become desperate, where the checking, the forcing, the anxious monitoring of results is running the day. Now write one honest sentence beneath it. I want this. I am taking consistent action toward it. And I am genuinely at peace if it does not arrive on the timeline I have imagined. If you cannot write that sentence honestly, you are not pursuing. You are gripping. And the grip is the obstacle. Practice 2. Do your part, then release. Identify one specific action that represents your complete, full-quality contribution to your most important goal today. Do it. Give it everything. Then, and this is the practice, step back. Not in defeat. In the deliberate, chosen trust of a man who has done his part and understands that the rest is not within his authority to force. Marcus took action every day. He also understood and documented that forcing the outcome beyond the action was not strategy. It was anxiety wearing the costume of effort. Practice 3. The present moment anchor. Tomorrow morning, before the checking, before the monitoring of results, before any reach toward the outcome you are pursuing, spend 5 minutes fully present in the immediate quality of your life. Not what is missing. What is here? Your health, your capacity to think and decide, the people who are present, the work that is available. This is not gratitude as performance. This is the Stoic practice of sufficiency, the recognition that the foundation you are building from is already solid enough to build on. From that foundation, pursue, not from the panic of lack, from the solidity of enough. Practice 4. Trust one thing you cannot control. Identify one element of your most important pursuit that is genuinely outside your authority. The timing, another person's decision, the market, the outcome. Write it down, and then write this. I have done my part. I release this to the intelligence of the process. My peace is not conditional on this outcome. Marcus wrote versions of this to himself every morning, not because it was easy, because it was the only alternative to spending the day in the grip of what he could not control. And a mind spent in that grip is a mind not available for the work that actually matters. You came into this video chasing, white-knuckling an outcome that keeps moving precisely because you are moving toward it with that specific energy. The desperation, the need, the grip that signals to every person, every opportunity, every circumstance capable of giving you what you are pursuing, that you are operating from lack. And lack repels. Every time, without exception. Marcus Aurelius governed an empire for 19 years without once making his peace conditional on the outcome. He did his part, completely, every day, without the grip. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle is not the delay. The obstacle is the desperation that cannot find the path around it, because it is too locked on the path it already decided was the only one." Release the grip, not the goal. The grip. Do the work from wholeness. Trust the process from strength. Hold the outcome lightly in an open palm. And discover what has always been true. The things that are meant for you do not require you to destroy yourself in pursuit of them. They require you to become the kind of person who is ready to receive them. Build that person. In the silence. In the stillness. In the quality of your daily work when no outcome is watching. And let what is meant for you find you there. Because it will. It always does, but only when you stop making its arrival the condition of your peace. Subscribe to the Inner Citadel. This is where the work gets done, for the people who have decided to stop chasing and start becoming. I'll see you in the next one.